Thanks for stopping by the channel. Make sure you're subscribed, checking out the bell icon down there somewhere so that you get notifications. Appreciate the follows. I appreciate the subs. I appreciate the views. Coming up on 1 year of this channel. Never thought I would see 100 subscribers, let alone almost 470. So we'll see how the next few days go. I might drop or gain some. We'll see. I want to ask a serious question in this video. And the analogy that I'm going to use is probably going to be a little graphic, but it's really important. And I want you to think about it because it's something that I've had to think about a lot. We are in a place in our culture today where what we're facing, what we're dealing with is foundationally and fundamentally a fight of wills, a war of the wills, if you will. See what I did there? And we have to begin to ask ourselves, not why do I stand, not what I believe in, because at this point, if you don't know what you believe and you're not certain of your beliefs, then it's probably already too late for you. But the question that I'm going to ask is meant to provoke you. It's meant to stir you up. It's meant to be a call to action, not a call to action to take up arms, not a call to action for violence, but a call to action in your personal life and in a very public, in a very real way. See, everybody talks about being outraged by what they see around them today. People are outraged by everything. There's a phrase in the more conservative circles that we used to refer to what's happening as outrage culture, and cancel culture, and you have outrage culture, and people are outraged, and conservatives are outraged, and leftists are outraged, and classical liberals are outraged, and moderates and centrists are outraged. Everybody's outraged. And you know, there's a quote from an old movie, I think it was called Broadcast News, and there's a scene in one of the main characters of the movie says, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore." And you know, quite frankly, I've been at that point where I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. I've been there for a long time and it just gets worse. Honestly, it just keeps getting worse. And I'm literally doing everything I can to not have to take it anymore. But I feel like I'm so alone sometimes. I was talking to a friend on the phone yesterday, and I told him, you know, I said, in our region, especially here in the state of Minnesota, people's state of Marxisota, as I come to so adoringly and lovingly refer to it, I said, you know, everybody's like, oh man, you know, we need more voices like yours, TC. We need more people speaking out. And I'm like, hey, dude, you got more money than I do. You got a computer. You got a laptop. You probably have a webcam. You probably know how to use video editing software better than I do. You could certainly start a YouTube channel. It's free. Be that voice, right? And everyone's like, no, man, TC, you just. And I'm not exaggerating this. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I'm a nobody. Like literally, I'm a nobody. There's no reason that the average Joe should listen to me over somebody else. And I'm glad for the people who do listen to me, and I'm glad for the people who share my videos, but I have to ask myself, where are you? Why aren't you speaking out? If you think my voice should be heard, if you think the things that I say should be heard, then you should be saying them too. And I told my friend, and you know who you are if you're listening to this, I told him, like, bro, there should be 400 other TCs out there, no matter where they live in the state of Minnesota. But just between Southeast Minnesota and traveling all the way up the Mississippi River corridor, there should be at least 400 YouTube channels like mine. because I know of at least 400 people, if not more. I've been to rallies surrounded by 2,000 or more people who agree with the things that I say, who have the same feelings, the same thoughts. But where are you? And when will you finally take a stand? You see, there's a problem in our culture that everybody says, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. But then the next thing comes along and they take it. I'm fighting angry. And by fight, I mean debate. I'm debating angry. It just doesn't sound the same. I'm fighting angry. Yes, I'm angry and I don't have a problem saying that. And I'm not going to apologize. I'm angry at the way we're being treated today. If you are a conservative, constitutionalist, liberty-loving, liberty-minded individual, and I'm an individualist, I'm not a collectivist. I hate collectivism. And if you are a collectivist, I hate your ideology with a passion. I'm an individualist. I'm a conservative. And I may disagree with you adamantly on some things, but I can still be your friend. But I'm not going to take it anymore. And you shouldn't be taking it either. Somebody asked me recently, I'm tired of wearing a face covering. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, if you're tired of it, what are you doing about it? Well, I'm not doing anything. And I'm like, well, why aren't you doing anything? Well, it's a law. And I'm like, it's not a law. It's a mandate. It's a mandate that violates a law, which violates the law. Just think about that. It's feedback loop. I don't encourage anybody to not wear a facial covering. Like, have I been at rallies that have encouraged people to not wear facial coverings? Absolutely. I've been at rallies that have encouraged people in a peaceful protest. Yeah, I've done that. Yes, I've been at rallies that have encouraged people to not to follow dictatorial mandates that have told you can't have more than 10 people from more than 2 households in your house. Yes, I have been at rallies that encourage that. But I've never told anybody that it's their absolute requirement that they not wear a facial covering or not follow that. I've just been at rallies because, well, it's my constitutionally protected liberty to do so, because I fundamentally and foundationally disagree with Governor Walz's executive orders that have been built up on the back of a public emergency that is fabricated out of whole cloth on a virus called the coof that has never been proven to be as deadly as everybody says it is. So yes, I've partaken in protests. Yes, I've partaken in rallies. Yes, I have protested myself by not wearing a facial covering in places and not abiding by the social gathering restrictions. Yes, I've done that. And I'm not ashamed. I make no apologies. But people ask me, well, what do I do? You have to do you. But if you say you're sick of something, but you still capitulate, then don't tell me you're sick of it. Don't tell me you're sick of it. Well, I don't like what the governor's doing. Okay, neither do I. Well, what do I do? You have to determine that. But here's what I'm going to say. Every single time they give you a mandate and you follow it, they're effectively pushing you backwards. And you say, I'm going to stand. And then they give another mandate. And you go, oh, okay, I'm going to follow that one too. And so you take another step back and they draw another line. And they say, cross this one, see what happens. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then they give you another mandate and they push you backwards and they draw another line. And they say, cross this one. And you're like, no, I don't think I will. And then they give another mandate and they push you backwards and they draw another line and they say, okay, don't cross this line. Go, but if you do, so give it a shot. No, I don't think I'll do that either. And they're like, They're continually taking ground from you. That's what they're doing. They're continually taking ground from you. And you're one thing, and you look at the corner of your eye, and I'm over there watching you, and you're like, hey, TC, what do? I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm like, you got to do it on your own, bro. I can't help you. You have to determine. Does the Constitution mean something to you? Do your liberties mean something to you? Or are you more afraid of the government than they are of you? The government's supposed to be afraid of me? Yeah, that's the whole point of the Bill of Rights. The government's supposed to be afraid of you. Elected servants should be afraid of you. Not in a, what kind of violence are they going to do to me way, but they're going to remove me from office kind of way. But here's what happens. And this is where the violence comes in, okay? In that metaphorical language. They keep pushing and they keep pushing and they keep pushing. And they keep backing you up because you keep giving ground and you keep looking at me and you keep going, what do I do? And I keep saying, I can't help you. You got to make you lead, follow, or get out of the way, right? Lead, follow, get out of the way. That's it. It's like the line from Tombstone when the fight breaks out at the OK Corral. And Wyatt Earp looks at Ike and says, the shooting's commenced. Ike, get to shooting or get out of the way. There again, this is all metaphorical. But sooner or later, they're going to back you up and they're going to keep telling you, keep backing up. But they're going to back you up to a wall. And then you're going to get to the wall. And that line is going to be at the tips of your shoes. It's going to be right at the tips of your shoes. And they're going to say, now you've proven that you'll capitulate to everything that we say. Now kneel and don't cross that line. And you're going to look down and you're going to see that the option is to kneel or stand. But if you kneel, just by the simple act of kneeling, you will have crossed a line. And that kneeling, when you cross that line, is going to put you in violation of what they've told you to do. And if you keep standing, it's going to be in violation of what they told you to do. And your back is going to be against the wall. And they're going to have the metaphorical gun pointed at your head. And you're going to have one option and one option only. Take the gun from them. Or be subjected to whatever the gun shoots at you. Because you have backed up and 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 you have backed up over and over and over again. Every time going, hey, TC, what do I do? And all I can tell you is, look at our forefathers. Take a stand. You draw the line and you tell them, you're not crossing this line. I'm not backing up anymore. You have to make them take the action. You have to make them be the ones that do the harm. So think about it like this. Take the the COOF restrictions out of it, right? There is an all-out assault on our Second Amendment rights, of our liberties enshrined, not created by, not granted by, but enshrined in the Constitution. There's an all-out assault on our Second Amendment liberties. They are coming for your guns. Make no mistake. The Biden administration, the Biden-Harris co-presidency wants to take your firearms from you. There are people in the people's state of Minnesota who will jump on board with red flag laws, and they will do whatever they can to take your guns from you, and they will follow whatever the Biden-Harris co-presidency says. They will do it. And they'll start small. Well, you don't need a magazine that holds more than 10 rounds, do you? I mean, what's the legitimate need for that? And you're like, yeah, you're right. Well, you don't need a firearm platform that looks like a military weapon, do you? And you'll be like, okay, I guess you're right. You don't really need a firearm that's larger in caliber than a 22, do you? I mean, really? You don't need a shotgun for hunting. You can use a bow, right? I mean, you don't need to have that many rounds of ammunition in your house, do you? And you're gonna be like, okay, I guess you're right. And then they're going to say, well, you don't technically need to have any kind of gun in your house, right? You don't need to be able to carry a firearm in public, do you? Right? And you're like, okay, I guess that's true. Well, you don't need to buy any more firearms, right? You you don't need to not be on a registry, right? Okay, you're right. I'll be on the registry. Oh yeah, I'll tell you what I have. As long as you promise to not take them from me. Okay? Don't take them from me. Hey, TC, I'm going to be on the registry, all right? Is that okay? I'm going to just sit there and go, dude, you're an idiot. But you've demonstrated you're willing to capitulate. You've demonstrated that. And then they're going to come. Hey, you remember that registry and those other things that you agreed to? We're here to take your weapons because, well, now that we have the registry, we know what you have. So we're here to take your weapons. You told me you weren't going to do that. Yeah, well, as Ronald Reagan once said, the most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. So I'm from the government, and I'm here to help. But you told me you wouldn't take my guns. You said I could keep them as long as I had them on the registry, and as long as I didn't have anything that looked like a military-grade weapon, and as long as I didn't have anything that had more than 10 rounds, and as long as I didn't have anything that was larger than a 22, and that I could do all my hunting with a bow, you told me I could keep the rest of my guns. Hey, TC, they're coming for my guns. They want to take them away. What are you going to do? See, the problem is we're letting ourselves be pushed around to the point where sooner or later they're going to take everything from us, and there's not going to be anybody who's willing to stand up and say, I'm not going to put up with it anymore. And again, I'm not talking about a call for violence. It should never come to that, ever. We should never be the initiators of force. We should be the initiators of resistance. We should be the initiators of dissidence against things that should be disdained. All of the COOF regulations should be disdained. Every order that's told you you can't have people in your house because the governor has said so. Every order that's told you that you can't be in public in groups. If you can't maintain 6 feet of social distancing outside, you must wear a facial covering at all times. That should be disdained. Every order that says churches have to have a maximum capacity of no more than 50%, and you must wear a facial covering when you're inside and you're worshiping your God, that should be disdained and that should be resisted. But we've just allowed them to do whatever they want, and we allow them to say whatever they want, and we just keep capitulating, and we back up, and we back up, and we back up. And sooner or later, our backs are going to be against the wall, and there's going to be a gun pointed at our heads that's meant to strip us of our freedom and kill our Constitution, and we're not going to be able to do a damn thing about it because everybody in this country is a coward, and they've backed up, and they've given up, and it's over. And there'll be nobody left to stand with you, and you're going to look at me, and you're going to go, hey, TC, what am I supposed to do? And I'm going to say, bro, you're on your own. I've been warning you. We are coming to a precipice, people. We are coming to a precipice. Right now, it is a freedom of speech, the liberty of free speech, to speak our minds, to assemble, to decry government overreach, to decry tyranny. And now they're starting in on everything else. They're starting in on due process. They're starting in on a right to a jury trial of our peers. They're starting in on speedy trials. They're starting in on equal protection. They're starting in on the right to keep and bear arms. They're starting in. They're attacking anybody who's a dissident in their eyes. They're attacking anybody who doesn't go and toe the socially, culturally, politically correct lines of the day. There's like, you dare not speak out against Black Lives Matter as an organization and call it a Marxist group, because they will attack you. You can be charged or fired. You better not support anybody that we deem to be a public enemy, because you could be fired. Think Kyle Rittenhouse. They're coming for you. And you have to decide where you're going to stand, and I can't make that decision for you. But I've been warning you. I've been warning you. Your friends have been warning you. Your friends have lost their jobs. Your friends are under assault. Cancel culture is coming for your friends. Politically correct culture is coming for your friends. Outrage culture is coming for your friends. And you're just sitting there going, hey, it's not happening to me, so I'm okay. Hey, TC, they're doing it to me now. What do I do? You're on your own. I've been warning you. And they're coming for me. But when they're done with me, they're going to come for you. And then you're going to look up and you're going to go, hey, TC? Hey, TC. TC? Hey, TC, where are you? Hey, TC. TC, are you there? And it'll be too late. Because they got me. And they got your other friends. And now it's just you. So, how far is too far? When is enough enough? And when are you going to finally listen to TC? When are you going to stand up and say no more? And one more time, this is not a call to violence. This is a call to political action. This is a call to social action. I do not condone violence. At all. I will never condone violence. But I do condone social and political action. That's how we win this fight. And until next time, sic semper tyrannis.